r/AskReddit. What's the most ridiculous reason for which you've been dumped? The girl told me she thought this boy who she had a crush on for a long time was gonna ask her out. She said this to me, her then BF. She thought I killed her horse. It wasn't actually her horse. With voodoo, it hung itself. Because I was jealous. It was a horse. I wish I still had the text. Long story short, she was mad I didn't grab her ass in public on our first date. LOL WTF. Are you for real? After going out with this guy for 6 months, I asked him if we were dating and he immediately ghosted me. This has always been so weird to me. My friend has been dating this woman for over a year now, and they still won't call each other girlfriend boyfriend. But this man is 39 ducking years old. It doesn't stop with these guys. It's so weird. You have to sort of slide into a relationship. You can't just ask someone on an early date, do you want to try and see if we can have a relationship? And then you're a couple until you break up. I met a woman from Thailand when I was 23, and she wouldn't even kiss me before I asked her to be my girlfriend. It seemed awkward at the time, but I actually like it a lot more. To me, it's idiotic that you duck and share intimate details of your life, and then have to wait months and months to have the talk. She found out the truck I was driving was owned by my mom. Guess it was a dump truck. God told me not to date you. I'm sorry, and guess what? This happened twice, with 2 different girls. You need to find God, bro, because he's clearly got a problem with you being cheeky. That sucks, man. When I was 12 we played spin the bottle and I made a kissy moi sound before we kissed. An hour later she sent her best friend to my soccer game to break up with me. Honestly, can you blame her? I'm not ready for a relationship. I thought it was a bad time to bring that up since we were engaged and had been together for almost 2 years. What the actual duck? She didn't think she was in too deep after the first year? He dumped me because I cheated on him in his dream. I think he didn't have a reason to break up with you and invented that one. Made a girl smile too much. She had braces and it cut up the inside of her mouth. All she has to do is put wax on her braces. It's not even difficult to get. Wax is standard when it comes to braces. I was dating a guy whose parents didn't like me. It was a long distance relationship, and so we mostly chatted online but also made occasional phone calls. So we were talking on the phone, and at one point I said, "You shouldn't have to choose between me and your parents." The conversation continued. We decided to break up. We stayed friends. Something like 10 years later, we were talking online when the subject of our breakup came up. Turns out he thought I had said, "You should have to choose between me and your parents," and decided that he wasn't going to do that. I would never give someone that kind of ultimatum. That would be ridiculous. It blew my mind that a single misheard word caused us to break up, and we didn't realize it for 10 years. I was dating a girl in college. After a month or so I told her that I love hanging out. We were out somewhere and she looked at me funny but smiled and we carried on with the date. Not long after she suddenly has issues meeting up and I eventually hear through a friend of hers she doesn't think it'll work out. I decide not to pursue the issue even though I thought things were going great. Roll on 6 odd years later. Bump into each other. Long conversation later it turns out she thought I had said I loved her and she thought it was all too soon and panicked, etc. So could have all be averted if we had a conversation about it, but never mind. My ex's cat was named Ben. The girl I was dating's cat was named Bundles. One day, I called Bundles Ben. She asked me what I just called her cat. I thought about it, and then remembered that was my ex's cat's name. I laughed and told her and she was super unimpressed. Broke up with me the next day. And this is why I am still surprised my husband didn't break it off when I called him my ex's name within the first 4 months of our relationship. Shared this before here, but this hasn't will always take the cake for me. College GF's dad won $1 million in the state lottery over winter break. Broke up with me over the phone, telling me now that I'm rich, I can't afford to date regular people like you. That's really the only thing wrong. You're just regular. One of my exes dumped me saying that he wanted to be like Paul from the Bible. He was of course referring to Paul being single and abstinent, but the kicker is that about a month later he had a new girlfriend. Not me, but one of my friends who's a senior in high school got dumped by her boyfriend who she dated for almost 2 years. He dumped her because he didn't want to go to the school dance. A few days later he texted her to tell her that he wanted to get back together, but she declined. He could have just told her that he didn't want to go and still be with her, or just go to the stupid dance. That's on one episode of Malcolm in the Middle. The girlfriend finds out that Reese is trying to pick a fight with her. To avoid the dance, she makes him go anyway and dumps him right after. Dated a chick in my early 20s. We partied a lot at the time. One night I refused to get into her car and go for the drive home since we were obliterated. She got upset, said "Duck you this guy, I'll be fine on my own." Receive a call from her 36 hours later. She'd been bailed out of jail already. "This guy, you are a ducking a-hole. It's your fault I went to jail. I am breaking up with you." I hung up and giggled. Dunt. LOL. What a perfect ending. Because I wouldn't drop the restraining order on him. Apparently me calling the police on him to get him out of my house. Putting a restraining order on him because he was trying to kill me. And then calling the police on him when he broke the restraining order didn't mean we broke up. It took standing in front of a judge to extend my restraining order for him to tell me, "Whatever beach, it's over." Because I guess I was just joking with everything else. Well, what do you expect when you send him so many mixed signals? The man's not a mindreader. On the surface, it sounded okay. My GF and I were kinda fizzling out. But when she dumped me, she said it was because I was not religious enough. She wanted to go to church every Sunday and for major religious holidays. I was okay with her going, but I was conflicted about religion at the time, so I didn't want to go. So that is what she said when she dumped me. Seems like a decent reason. What made it ridiculous is that about 6 months later, she was dating the president of the college atheist group. The guy I was dating broke up with me cause he had family problems. I was all like, "I'm so sorry, I'm here if you need me." 2 days later I find out he lied and asked out one of my best friends and she said yes. About a week later I asked him why he dumped me and he left me on read. "Did you ask your best friend what was up? That's shady of both of them." I'm a Gemini. I said love you. She got mad I forgot the I. Oh no, how could you? Apparently I gave her too much anxiety when I bought her a coffee that one morning and she broke up with me the same week. Edit. I gave her the drink in front of my locker in high school before class started. But I didn't buy her a coffee, it was a hot chocolate. Where I'm from in Canada, getting someone a coffee can mean just any drink. I got her a hot chocolate cause she was a picky eater and didn't like coffee or tea. But I liked her and wanted to surprise her with a warm drink on that cold day. My boyfriend broke up with me because he was moving away to go to puppet school. It was clearly your fault because you wanted a no strings attached relationship. Haha, seriously though, sorry for the breakup. We were 14 and I wore a tank top for the first time in his presence. Turned out I had way more cleavage than he was comfortable with and he dumped me over the phone. What the duck? Of all the ridiculous reasons. Apparently, we didn't come from the same planet. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. I don't feel a spark of anything when we kiss anymore. At that time I got hit in the mouth with a bat and couldn't kiss her for the past month. If you didn't want to be with me, just say it, or at least come up with a better lie to dump me over. For a moment I thought a bat flew straight at your face. Perhaps this one had a broken sonar or some shit. Then I realized what bat you were talking about. My first girlfriend told me once that I loved my dog more than her. I said that I did and she didn't talk to me for a week, which at the time felt like an eternity. We ended up getting back together for another month. She broke up with me because she found these guys at the flea market who were hitting on her, gave them my number, and they called to fight for her. I said no. I'm sorry. WTF. That's ridiculous. She wanted you to go meet a group of guys to physically fight them for her? Like physically fight? WTF. As everyone else is saying on here. Dodge a bullet. I, a 14-year-old, wouldn't take her, a 14-year-old, virginity in a Burger King bathroom. Welcome to Ireland. When I was in year 6, 6th grade, my GF dumped me cause I was too black and I was killing her vibe. Charlotte, if you ever read this, I hope you burn in hell. A disagreement about whether a milkshake was ice cream. It was winter. 2 AM. I'm driving her home. We're talking. Having a good time. Things are great. She says she wants some ice cream. Where in the hell am I going to get that in this season at this time of night? So I stop in a fast food place and order a milkshake, the closest I figured they had, and she gives me a dumb look. Our conversation goes something like this. Oh my god, you always do this. Anytime you're wrong, you refuse to talk about it. The conversation escalated. She refused to drop it no matter how much I insisted it wasn't a big deal. And when I finally got to her dorm, she hopped out of the car, slammed my door, and blocked me on social media. Haven't spoken to her since. We had a similar fight about whether maroon was red earlier in the relationship, but somehow we managed to recover from that one. Not dumped, but shut down. I asked her out and she sort of freaked. Like, on a date? A date. Oh shit. I want to say yes, but I can't. Every time I've dated a guy I liked we ended up hating each other. But I want it, but I can't. So, I know, you're my gay friend. I can't date you, because you're gay. Awesome. I have a gay friend now. Oh shit. I'm late for class. Bye. I was like what? What the duck just happened? The other people of our social group were similarly confused. Ah, you gay? Did she just make that up? Confusing as duck lol. My 5th grade boyfriend dumped me over Xbox Live. It wasn't working out, Candice. Every time we pushed you wanted to camp. Every time we rushed see you went away. Every time we called an airstrike you wanted a care package. And the list goes on and on. It wasn't meant to be. Finally grew a spine and started thinking with a big brain upstairs. Got into an argument over trying to initiate sexy time. Was trying to do everything she told me to. Got blown off and showed my frustration. I said, what do you want me to do? I'm trying to do everything we talked about and you keep pushing me away even more now. She said, you are an, almost at the time this was years ago, 25-year-old man. You should just know what I want and how I want and when I want it. So I replied, let me get this straight. You want me to just know exactly what you want and exactly when and how to go about it? Reply, yes. I said, babe, that's called reading your mind. And no one in the world can read minds. I came home from work, at midnight mind you, and was told, pack your shit and move out, I'm impossible to deal with. TLDR, I was told I should be able to read minds just because I was a 25-year-old man. I said that's impossible. I was dumped and thrown out. I love you so much and want to spend the rest of my life with you. We have to break up. If it's really meant to be then we will end up together again like they do in the movies. You ever see the movie Saw? We have to break up. I mean, we can't even get married. You're allergic to fish. She chose the occasional tuna sandwich over me. I laughed and still tell the story, so I guess it's a win. A girl I dated texted me that I wanted a relationship and she's not really up for that right now. It was actually because she was taller than me and was afraid of what people would think. I met my wife a week later. 2nd grade. Been dating for a few months. All of a sudden she breaks up with me. I ask why. Well, Richard is just more interesting than you. Sticks with me to this day. This happened when I was 21 and the girl was 22. She was Hispanic and I'm white. We were in the phase before a relationship, so I guess we were seeing each other. Anyways, we got along great, and to this day, I still think she is just an amazing person with a heart of gold. We were out to eat one night at Applebee's, and the conversation of food came up. We discussed our favorite foods, what we didn't like, etc. She mentioned something about trying new things, specifically things like Rocky Mountain oysters, bull testicles, frog legs, etc. I'm a relatively picky eater, admittedly, so I told her I didn't think that I could try any of those things. The rest of the night went on just fine, and I didn't think anything of it. A couple nights later when I was talking to her on the phone, she said she didn't think we should see each other anymore, because she believed that I'm prejudiced against other people's cultures because I won't try any of their traditional foods. I was kind of blown away, but she had already made her mind up, so I wasn't going to stop her. I still keep in touch with her from time to time. even though she now lives 3,000 miles away. Too long didn't read. Girl dumped me because I wouldn't eat bull testicles. My first wife dumped me because she said her boyfriend was around to spend more time with her and our son. I was deployed to Afghanistan. Edit. Row. Y'all. Thanks for support and kind words and the gold. This was all several years ago and really is just ridiculous to me now. I'm remarried to a great woman now. You're too normal. And then she went back with her ex. An ex-convict pusher who thinks that a shiner is an act of love. I was too clingy. She got mad every time I hung out with anyone that wasn't her. Ex wanted me to drop out of my master's program 6 months before graduation so I could work at Walmart for the rest of my life. And it hurt his feelings I had a higher degree than him. So him being ridiculous made me dump him. We were dating for 3-4 months and I came over while he was on acid, and then a couple days later he told me that while stripping he realized I was the antagonist in his life and that we're breaking up. Because I asked her if, for once, I could talk about my day. Nope, not an option. Looking back, thank duck that happened, but the fallout is still immense. 2 stories for this one. Not sure which is more ridiculous, because I didn't want to wake up out of a dead sleep at 3 AM and walk 2 miles in the cold spring weather to go to a ducking elementary school so she could use the swing set, because I said Scarlett Duckine Johansson was pretty, as if I would in any life have a chance with her. Can I do the most ridiculous reason I've had to dump someone? Starting dating this girl. She's like 29 with a master's degree, really sweet and cute, so I'm excited about the potential. On our 3rd date we were driving to a late night event at a science museum and she asked what I was most excited about seeing, and I said I've always enjoyed the dinosaur fossils, and she said, oh, and got real quiet. After 5 seconds of silence I asked if she didn't like dinosaurs or something, and she said it's not that, it's more than, well, I'm not sure how I feel about dinosaurs. Which led me to ask by feel, you mean, you? And she said, well, I'm just not sure if they are real. Beat I look over quizzically. She continues like, they're not mentioned in the Bible, so I don't know if they existed. I tried to get through the night, and to be fair there were some decent jokes. When we walked into the natural sciences wing there was a picture of Darwin on the wall and she said, hey look, there's your best friend. And later we were standing in front of a skeleton of a raccoon and I said, so just to be clear, your position on raccoons is, yes, no, maybe? She was a pretty nice girl and we had fun on the first 2 dates. So I tried to tough it out, but the dinosaur thing just ate at me for days. Like a week later I called her from the office and this was our conversation. Me, look, we gotta talk. I don't think this is going to work for me. 10 seconds of silence. Her, it's the dinosaur thing, isn't it? Me, yeah, it's the dinosaur thing. I got dumped because the headlights on my car didn't come on automatically when I started my car. I'm assuming he had other reasons, but this is what I was told, and I love laughing at it. You didn't help me or support me with anything. I spent most of my time doing her job on the horse farm and doing extra work on top of that so she could focus on competitive riding. Joke's on her, my so is so much ducking better than her. Didn't hold her hand in the car at night during a storm on the way to dinner. I had also never been to the area and was unfamiliar with it. On that night, she did me a favor by breaking it off. What a nut. I was going to end it the next day because of that being an issue, but she beat me to it. LOL. Obviously we had some other issues, but that ultimately was the argument that ended things. We were both 25. Apparently I was too serious for my age. I was just doing my undergrad, reading and having beers with the fellas on the weekends. She was more of a party girl, worked as a bartender and was really into the nightlife. I was, and still am, more calm. A few beers and good conversation is more me. Not really in the club person. Looking back, I'm pretty sure what she wanted to say was, you're too boring for me or we're too different. But she ended up saying I was too serious. It did sting a bit and had me reflect on how I behave around people. Am I too negative or reserved? Stuff like that. While we had different interests, those differences did give us a lot to talk about. I liked her relaxed perspective on things. Actually had a guy dump me because I'm a carpenter, and according to him, it's just not ladylike. I was 17. He was 19. He said Jesus told him to break up with me because I was too much of a temptation. His behavior suddenly changed. When I questioned it, he dumped me. This happened a few days ago. In high school, I'm missing my left index finger, and we were holding hands while walking through the halls between classes. She abruptly let go of my hand and said that it was just too weird, and the relationship wasn't going to work out. We'd been dating for like 4 hours at that point. Dated exclusively for 1.5 years. Dumped on Thanksgiving. He forgot to tell me he was getting married that weekend. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.